This is my friend Iyla.
This is my friend Hayden.
And this is What's the Talk About? A podcast about, well, anything.
And everything. Hi, guys. We hope you listened to our last immigration podcast. Like we said, this is a series. And last one was kind of just an overview and about Trump's last presidency.
Yeah. And now today we're going to be talking about why immigrants are vital to our communities. But we're going to get started with our rose and our thorn. So Iyla, you can go first.
My rose is that we're recording again. Very proud
Yay!
of us. Yes. It's also that I leave for a exchange program to Germany in like 2 weeks. So I'm really excited for that. And then my thorn is that I'm so busy and there's not enough time in the day, and I'm like really struggling to, I don't know, do things that are important.
Okay, my rose, I have multiple actually. So I took the ACT yesterday.
Yay.
So I'm done with that. And it's like a huge relief. And I'm also leaving for Boston in less than a week, which is really exciting. Mm-hmm. And my thorn is I have to do my summer reading like this week probably.
Oh, girl.
And I have not even gotten started on it. And I think I like changed the book I want to read. So I'm a little stressed about that.
I agree, because I've read 3 books and I'm trying to choose between one of them. Oh. And I don't like either of them, so.
Yeah, I've read multiple books, but I'm not writing an essay on that.
Yeah. Okay, so like we said, we're talking about why immigrants are vital to our communities. And this isn't just about economics or politics. It's about humanity, culture, growth, and resilience.
Okay, so first we're going to start with like the big picture. So we're starting with a broad view. Immigrants make up around 14% of the U.S. population, but they contribute far beyond their numbers. They're not just part of our communities, they build them.
So let's look at some data. In 2024, the foreign-born accounted for 19.2% of the U.S. civilian labor force, up from 18.6% in 2023, and are overrepresented in essential jobs: healthcare, agriculture, construction, hospitality, and more.
Immigrants make up 22% of restaurant workers and 51% in dairy farming. And during COVID-19, nearly 1 in 3 doctors in the U.S. were immigrants. Immigrant nurses, delivery drivers, and grocers literally help this country to run.
And yet, they're often left out of the conversation or even stigmatized. Let me just say to the people who are telling immigrants to stay out of the country and stop taking away our jobs, generally, what are you talking about? Like, if you're preaching that, you need to be prepared to work the jobs they leave, like construction and healthcare and agriculture jobs, like Hayden was saying.
Yeah, and that disconnect between contribution and recognition is a big part of why we're having this discussion today.
Okay, so let's talk about dollars and cents. Immigrants pay billions in taxes every year. In 2022 alone, undocumented immigrants contributed around $20 billion in federal, state, and local taxes. They pay their freaking taxes more than actually some billionaires and companies do, and I think we fail to realize that.
And get this, immigrants are twice as likely to start businesses as native-born Americans.
Yeah. So immigrant-owned businesses employ millions of people. Think of your favorite local food truck, the dry cleaner down the block, that amazing bakery in your neighborhood. Chances are it's actually immigrant-owned.
Yeah, they create jobs, they innovate. Some of the biggest companies in the world, like Tesla, Google, and eBay, were founded by immigrants or children of immigrants.
Yep.
I mean, let's look at Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's an immigrant, guys. Let's just make that clear.
Yeah.
Like, exactly, immigration is not about taking away jobs, it's about expanding opportunity, right?
There are immense economic warning signs. Deportations risk labor shortages, supply disruptions, inflation, and long-term decline. Private companies warn the SEC. And I've definitely seen some articles about how businesses struggle after their workers are deported. And this applies to both sides of the scale, like Republicans and Democrats struggle after deportations of their workers.
Right.
Because then they have to go out and do these jobs that they've never done before because they've been employing these immigrants and paying them way less than they should be.
Right.
Like, if you're a farmer, but you don't know how to do 90% of the farming, and you leave that up to the immigrants you've hired and you pay them 50 cents an hour, like, suddenly they're gone and you don't know how to do that job. And no one wants to work
Right.
for 50 cents an hour because they don't have that, like, thrive to be, like, a self-starter in a new country.
Right. Which the system shouldn't even be set up like that.
Yeah.
But, like we're going to point out in this episode, America is built off the backs of immigrants. So when we talk about these agriculture jobs, like Hayden was saying about farming, for example, I think like we said, we underrepresent how many people are actually working, first of all, a minimum wage, less than a minimum wage, to even earn money for their families. And especially coming here to seek asylum and not having that enough money to even apply for citizenship, that's a whole other problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about something just as important, which is culture. Imagine your city without immigrant influence. No taco trucks, no Thai food, no Diwali celebrations, no Afrobeat dance nights.
I mean, you'd obviously miss out on so much, like the food, the music, the art, the language. I think immigrants bring so much richness and diversity that make our communities vibrant. People often undervalue the culture that makes America great. I think this brings up an important point that we need to realize that there's no American culture without the minority culture that made this country.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Like, even here in New Mexico, like,
especially here, for sure.
We're built of so many different cultures. Like, we have the Hispanic culture, we have the indigenous culture.
We have an Asian American culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have, like, a pretty big Arab population.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And in fact, some of the most iconic aspects of America were created by, you guessed it, immigrants. Irving Berlin, who was born in Russia, wrote White Christmas, Easter Parade, and even God Bless America.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, and numerous other standards. Many of the most highly regarded composers and playwrights of Broadway were the children of immigrants, including George and Ira Gershwin, Richard Rodgers, Lawrence Hart, Jerome Kern, Harold Arlen, and Leonard Bernstein. These composers and lyricists were largely second and third generation Jewish immigrants who were reared in ethnic enclaves, but their work has defined the quintessential American musical culture of the 20th century.
Immigrants and their children have also been prominent in other realms of artistic achievement, like ballet and modern dance. Like George Balanchine, born in Russia, founded the New York City Ballet in 1948 and choreographed 18 Broadway shows and several Hollywood films. So Balanchine felt that the United States offered a fresh canvas for experimentation with ballet and dance. The cultural impact of immigration is prominently visible in the arts, literature, and music of the United States. Immigrant artists, writers, and musicians have significantly influenced American culture, including new styles, themes, and perspectives. From renowned painters like Jean-Michel Basquiat to literary giants like Vladimir Nabokov, immigrants have left an indelible mark on the creative realm. We really are a mixing pot of people, and diversity shouldn't be scary.
Also, immigration has led to an increase in various languages within the United States. While English remains the predominant language, communities speaking Spanish, Chinese, Hindi, many other languages have flourished. This linguistic diversity enhances cultural exchange, facilitates international business relations, fosters a greater understanding of different cultures, shapes the development of multicultural communities, enabling cross-cultural communication and promoting understanding.
Right. Also, immigrants brought over so many culinary traditions. One of the most delicious aspects of cultural impact is an introduction of diverse culinary traditions. Immigrants have brought their unique recipes, their spices, and cooking techniques, leading to the development of fusion cuisine. Immigrant contributions, with the fusion of flavors from different cultures being a hallmark of the country's culinary landscape. And you can definitely see this in New Mexico. Like, we definitely have a lot of fusion cuisine.
Yeah. So now we're going to slow it down for a moment and talk about the human side. Behind every immigration statistic is a story. We have taken 2 true immigration stories from Vera.
Okay, so I'll start with mine. It's about 2 girls named Raina and Anna. So Raina and Anna could not understand the papers that were given to them as they sat shackled hand and foot in an upstate New York jail. Both from Mexico, Reina had escaped domestic violence and Anna had fled her hometown after receiving threats from the people who had tortured and killed her brother. Although they came to the United States separately, and for different reasons, both women saw the country as a beacon of hope and safety. U.S. and international laws permit people fleeing danger to seek asylum. When Reina and Anna were intercepted by border control agents after entering the United States to seek safety, they found themselves imprisoned instead of aided. Research shows that detaining people in prison-like conditions is not necessary to ensure they participate in immigration court proceedings. Yet Reina and Anna were forced to spend weeks locked up in Clinton County Jail, part of the massive U.S. immigration detention system. The U.S. immigration detention system is made up of a shadowy network of local jails, prisons, privately run facilities, and even fenced enclosures. Anna said that the cells in Clinton County Jail were very cold, and the experience of incarceration was hard. We felt very sad, she said. I was crying a lot. Both women were surprised at their treatment when they came to the United States. When you come here, you are looking to get away from danger, Anna said. I felt devastated when we got to the jail. They take you in handcuffs, not just around your hands, but chains on your feet. It was at Clinton County Jail that a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which is ICE, officer presented both Reina and Anna with expedited removal orders to sign. But the orders were in English, and no Spanish translation was offered. Their questions about what they were given went unanswered. They just said, sign it here, Anna recalled. They did as they were told. With their signatures, they had unknowingly given up their right to seek asylum and agreed to be sent back to Mexico. Another detained woman who could read English informed Reina and Anna that by signing the papers, they had essentially agreed to be deported. They felt devastated and alone. Forcing someone to sign documents they can't read is an all too common occurrence in immigration detention, where far too many people are denied the ability to understand and exercise their legal options and make informed choices.
I think this is a really powerful story and just like shows how awful like deportations really are.
And they don't need to be.
Yeah. I mean, these people were not criminals.
Right.
My story is about how U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement did not tell Ramon's family that it would be deporting him to Guatemala on Wednesday. It was 2015, and Ramon's 5-year-old son Julio was visiting his father in immigration detention on a Sunday afternoon. When he said goodbye through the glass, he did not know it would be the last time he would see him in person. Now 13, Julio has not seen his father since. For years, the United States intentionally and horrifically separated children from their parents to deter immigrants from coming to the United States. Though it is no longer an explicit weapon, family separation has long been and still is a horrible result of U.S. immigration practices. FARA reviewed ICE reports to Congress and found that between 2015 and 2020, the government ordered more than 156,000 parents of U.S.-born children to be removed from the United States. Julio is one of the countless children who has grown up without their parent due to the immigration system, described as failing by immigrant right advocates and immigration judges alike. As Father's Day approaches, Ramon and Rosita, Julio's mother, are saving money to send Julio to see his father in Guatemala this summer. Rosita hopes for systemic change that will prevent other families from experiencing the heart-wrenching separation theirs has been forced to endure.
And I think your story, my story, shows the importance of welcoming a community that you don't necessarily understand. That's cultural exchange, and it should be welcomed. Because, I mean, I'm learning right now in some of my cultural programs that I have to go through to get to Germany, which isn't necessarily too different from us now, and how I'm living. But even that takes understanding and an approach to cultural exchange. And like my story talking about how they were given papers that they didn't even know what that meant, I think that also speaks to how important it is to have translators and to have people who know the language and practice the language. We're a mixing pot, like I said. So we need to, work on how we're exchanging with other cultures.
And I also think that, like, to the people who are like, oh, just come into the country the legal way.
Right.
How are people supposed to do that when it is so inaccessible? Like, you can't even read the documents that you're being handed to get here the quote-unquote legal way.
And like we said, the money that they need, the amount is outrageous.
Yeah. And also, the legal way is staying in this country for years.
Right.
And like, you're just going to deport people who are trying to do it the legal way just because they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. You can't have it like the ways you want to because it just doesn't work as that's being shown. And also, our president on day one shut down the website that so many immigrants in Mexico are using
for information and
for
resources.
information and like their databases with all their names on it. He shut that down. So all these people were just like immediately denied like citizenship here because he shut them down. And like, if you want them to do it the legal way, we need reforms.
And like you said, it needs to be accessible.
Yeah.
Because it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. And if you guys are going to say that there's like not enough money for these reforms, let's just talk about how Trump just allocated billions of dollars out of Medicaid into deportations.
Like 170. Wasn't it 170 million? Yeah.
Like, let's use that money instead to help people get here the quote-unquote legal way like you guys want.
Right. Other than on ICE, right?
If you guys want immigration to be, like, more regulated and you want to deport less people, then do it. But just, like, you know, like, fund that instead of funding, like, the deportations of people.
Yeah. Obviously, the system is broke.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we'd be doing a disservice if we didn't talk about the real struggles immigrants face.
Absolutely. Language barriers, legal hurdles, racism, xenophobia. Even just trying to access basic healthcare or fair housing can be a major challenge.
And don't get us started on the immigration system. Like Hayden said, it's complex, it's expensive, and often dehumanizing. Especially since immigration cases are not even being brought through courts. Like I said in our previous episode, they aren't upholding due process rights.
Yet despite all of that, immigrants still show up. They build lives. They give back.
Which goes to show how incredibly strong and resilient they are. I mean, it's kind of unimaginable.
So what can we do to support immigrants and our communities?
Well, first, we need to listen to their stories, and we need to elevate immigrant voices. So don't speak over them, amplify them. And this goes to show even like for celebrities who are talking about the immigration crisis more recently. And if you can speak to that as a celebrity and you can speak to this challenge, then go ahead and amplify your own voice. But if you can't speak to it and you still think it's an important crisis and there's something going on, then you need to amplify the voices that don't have that platform to speak, you know?
Yeah. But also another issue that I have with like celebrities speaking out about it is like, you guys also kind of think it's like a trendy thing to be like,
absolutely.
Like, guys, it's bad. Like, don't do it. And it's just to get you more views. Like, you need to come from a genuine place. And even if you are like this major influencer that's like making these videos because you actually feel bad, but like you're also doing it because you see every other influencer doing it, so and you're like, oh, that's views. The trendy thing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? I think I saw a headline yesterday on my Instagram feed that was like, Olivia Rodrigo shows up for immigrants. Something like that. And she had just uploaded a post from someone else about how it basically just said what's happening about the immigration crisis and about like the LA raids is wrong. That's all it said.
Yeah. That should not be considered like standing up for immigrants. That should be like decent human.
That's empathy, like, guys. Yeah. That's empathy.
Yeah. Yeah. You shouldn't be freaking out because your favorite celebrity reposted like an anti-ICE thing. No, they should be quietly like funding organizations. Like they shouldn't be like saying like, oh, I like, you can be like, oh guys, this is a good organization, like you should fund it, but like you shouldn't be like, oh, I'm donating all this money and like stop making it like something to get you, like don't make it a popularity contest over, oh, who can show the most like empathy.
Yeah. And I think it's become that for sure.
Because like I also feel like it's kind of hard because like so many people are putting pressure on the celebrities who live in LA. They're like, oh, they haven't spoken out about this yet.
Right.
But then when the celebrities are getting a bunch of that hate, then they're obviously going to speak out on it. And like, I know I've definitely seen some Trump supporters who are celebrities who have spoken out against the ICE raids.
Right.
But like they still like support Trump. So it's like at what point is it like actually genuine and which point is it like just, oh, I want more followers. But also if you're a celebrity, you should have that. Like you're giving your platform for a reason. Right.
in some ways it's good. Like I said, if you really feel, and if you've talked about topics like this before, I think it's okay. If you genuinely and generally stand up for, rights, that's your platform. You're allowed to do whatever you want with it. But if you pick and choose like what's important, it seems a little fake,
Yeah. I mean, let's look at Pedro Pascal. Like, he's a
Right.
celebrity who obviously is outspoken against the ICE raids, but he's also, like, supports trans rights.
Mm-hmm.
He supports women's rights. He's always out. He's at protests, everything.
Yeah,
and,
he's
like,
always advocating.
Yeah, and he isn't, like, flaunting it around like some big, like, achievement, like, ooh, look at me. He's, like, actually doing it, like, from the bottom of his heart.
Right.
Even when he's asked about it on press, he's like, yeah, I won't speak about this further, but, like, my stance is on it.
And that's like using your platform for good.
Yeah.
At that point. Right.
So second, you can shop local, support immigrant-owned businesses. It's an easy, tangible way to give back. We have plenty in New Mexico, for example. Instead of going to Starbucks, try a local coffee shop or restaurant.
Yeah. Okay, and then third, advocate. Whether it's fighting for DACA, language access, or fair labor practices, your voice matters, even if you're not directly affected. And that's kind of what we were talking about with the celebrity thing as well.
Yeah. And then you can also volunteer with refugee resettlement programs, tutor ESL learners, or just show up when your immigrant neighbors are organizing.
Right, that's important. Okay, so now we're approaching the end of our episode, so we're kind of going to reiterate what we were talking about. So immigrants are not just part of our communities, they are completely foundational to them. They're builders, they're dreamers, they're parents, they're teachers, they're workers and artists. They carry stories of struggle, of triumph, and of hope. And we need to start humanizing them. I think it's become this trend to dehumanize people that are different from you.
Yeah.
Just purely different. And I think we really need to start thinking of these people as actual humans.
Yeah. Like, don't call them illegals.
Yeah. That's just a way to separate themselves from the problem, obviously.
And, like, one of the things that makes me so angry is when Republicans try to, like, I don't know, they're trying to reason with the Democrats, but they're like, oh, well, if I went to another country and I started breaking the laws, like, I would get deported. And it's like, yes, if you were breaking laws, like, I mean, look, if someone actually committed a huge crime and they were not a U.S. citizen,
and stuff,
then, like, yeah, I can maybe see why they'd be deported in a humane way, obviously, and after a trial. But if they're just coming here to escape their rapist, or, they're escaping their family that is deeply involved in, like, a drug scheme, and they're just trying to come here for a better life, or they need a job so they can support their family back at home, like, those are not illegal, like, people, like, and, like, they shouldn't be deported.
Yeah, and especially to places like El Salvador, which they don't belong in. First of all, it's not their country, and they're being, like, I can't stress this enough. They're in prison with actual criminals, and we really need to understand that breaking or entering the United States and not being a legal citizen is not itself a crime.
Yeah,
right.
And also, like racism plays such a huge role in this. Like, even if someone committed a crime and, like, they happen to be an immigrant, they're obviously going to get way more years than the average white man.
Yep.
Like, you're carrying the same amount of drugs. Obviously, the immigrant is getting locked away for longer.
Right.
And
it's obviously disproportionate.
And, like, even Trump, like, pulling up these old charges from 25 years ago.
Like you said, the marijuana charge, right?
Yeah. Like this is, like, a thing that happens all the time. There's, like, people who use marijuana 25 years ago, and now, like, in our day and age, like, it's legal in most places.
Right.
And it shouldn't be a crime anymore. And like,
you definitely shouldn't be sent to a prison with, like, actual crazy people.
But then now they're being deported because of that one drug charge when they decided to use drugs when they were 15 years old.
It's become too much, obviously.
Yeah. Like, we should not be digging into their past.
Right.
And, like, that's the thing. Immigrants should be on trial, like, for modern things, not, like, something they did 25 years ago that they've served the time, they've grown from it, they've never gotten in trouble again.
Right. And I want to remind the listeners that like we said before in our last episode, if you listened, Hayden gave a little preview of kind of what the history was in the 1800s and how immigration has changed since then. And like literally our founding fathers were immigrants.
Yeah.
Like literally immigrants.
British immigrants.
I know education is illegal in America, but like I don't think people are teaching history like this, that they were illegal immigrants in a place that was full of Native Americans. That was their land.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't think we understand how.
Yeah, and when they came over here, they weren't.
History's repeating, apparently.
They weren't applying for visas when they came over here, asking the Native Americans for, refugee.
They were coming in, they were destroying homes.
Yeah.
And communities.
And, this is, the thing that you all are so terrified of, happening today. You're oh, they're gonna ransack our houses and they're stealing our jobs and all of this stuff. But it's no, your ancestors did.
Oh,
but,
yeah. Drop that.
But no, the immigrants are not doing that.
Right.
And
they're just trying to literally look for a better place to live.
Also, guys, if any of you guys have been up to date with the news, which you probably should be, the Minnesota lawmaker shooter was white.
Yes.
Was MAGA, was a Christian nationalist, white supremacist. And guess what? He was a murderer.
Yep.
No, he wasn't from Mexico. He wasn't from Jamaica. He wasn't from El Salvador. No, he was from here. The story applies to so many things. And the attempted, Trump assassinators, all white.
Oh my gosh. I know. And then we try to blame it. It's racism.
And then you're
it's racism.
Oh, but the murderers are coming from the outside. The drugs are coming from the outside. No, they're not.
Okay, our real problems are really inside our country. And I think by focusing on the outside and I saw something today. Trump tweeted that if people were throwing rocks at ICE, that the protesters were to be detained. So right of protesting, guys, gone. Just gone.
Yeah.
So I just think he's putting so much power in people who, first of all, didn't sign up to do these kinds of jobs. Morale of ICE is very low.
Definitely there's some ICE workers who obviously believe in what they're doing.
Right.
But then I've definitely seen some videos of people who are this person is the same skin tone as I am. They speak the same language as me, but I have to deport them, and it's really hard for them, and they're crying.
And when the difference between the two is a piece of paper, I mean that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna move on. Sorry.
So
a little rant.
Immigration is not just a policy, it's personal. I think me and Iyla have proved that throughout this episode. Yes. Behind every law, there are people. Families, workers, dreamers, and seekers of safety. America's story is still being written by those who arrive and those who are welcome or those who aren't. Whether we close the doors or open our arms, that choice says a lot about who we are as a country.
Right. So let's keep reminding ourselves and others that our communities are stronger, they're more creative, and they're definitely more compassionate because of immigrants.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Yeah. I think it kind of sucks that we have to make an episode describing why immigrants are vital to the community. I mean, it should be obvious and already.
There shouldn't be people being saying this is wrong, guys, on social media even. Obviously it's wrong. If you can't see it's wrong, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But we are so glad to have the opportunity to talk about this topic. I see it every day in the news. Surrounded by a community of cultural people, and I just think I'm glad we're talking about this.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, everyone.
In this episode description, we'll have some links that you guys can check out to do some more research for yourselves, hear some more stories, and donate if you want to.
And we're always going to have the Know Your Rights
Yeah.
as well. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.